Hello, is it me you're looking for? What do I call this? I call this something. Pluto. Using Pluto. Let's call it using Pluto placements for life change. Sure. We can just say, changing life with Pluto. Sure. Let's go with that. Let us go with that. Hello, everybody. Okay, so I went with like this light that kind of changes. I don't know if I like that. I'm going to change it one more time. Let me see. I got to find my light now. This is not like the best setup for where to put a light switch. We're going to change that. Hold on. No. Maybe, no. Ooh, that feels kind of good. I'm kind of liking that. I'm going to go with that. We're going to go with that because we're talking Pluto today. And Pluto is okay. First of all, Pluto is just Pluto. Hello. Right. I was like, I'm not going to even say it. And designer baby, hello. So yeah, we're talking Pluto today. Pluto is, yes, the farthest out there, and as far as being closest to the sun, right? You have your personal planets, which are Venus and Mercury, and Mars, I think, is like a personal planet. And then we have these planets that are just way out there. Pluto is a dwarf planet, right? Dwarf planet. It was kind of downgraded at the beginning of the century, and those of us like me who are Scorpio energy, who were assigned Pluto as our governing body, we're like, hey, no, Pluto is a planet. It's still a planet. I'm going to keep calling it a planet. So just understand that I'm calling Pluto a planet, okay? Even though I understand it's a dwarf planet. So that's number one. Number two, if you are seeing this and you come in, if you could just like this or share this or whatever, that would be good, because apparently I am outside of the algorithm. Okay, talking darkness, talking shadow, apparently outside of the algorithm. Okay, nobody is searching for Pluto right now. Okay, so I'm gonna need for you to like this and share it, and then that way people who are like us, okay, us, who are looking for that work, that shadow work, going deeper, to change our lives, we can then find each other. Okay, so let's help us find each other. Let's go with that. Okay, I am still Asia. I'm still the Soulful Creatrix, and I am here on a Wednesday, which I don't do. I might have did it last week. I don't know. This could become a regular thing though. Okay, I'm open to it. Why? I don't have much going on Wednesdays, especially like around the noon o'clock hour, right? People are like doing lunch and working, and Wednesday's like hump day, and they're just getting stuff done. My energy don't work that way, right? So I feel like I can take this time, Wednesdays, while I don't have clients, because sometimes I do. Sometimes I do have a client on a Wednesday, and then I'm stuck like in a not stuck. I am in a meeting, okay? But when I don't, Wednesday is open, and it's normally open. And so I'm kind of like, hey, maybe on Wednesdays I need to come through with some actual stuff, right? Like let's bring the hammer, like throw the gauntlet, whatever, you know what I mean? And so maybe that's what I'm going to do. And so that is why today I wanted to talk Pluto. So roll back with me to Monday. I mentioned in passing that I have been working with Pluto as a part of my soul alchemy journey. Okay. And if you see on Instagram or on TikTok, I think I did a reading with alchemy cards. I forgot to bring the alchemy cards. 1 second. Hey there, woman. Woman. Hey, woman. Can you bring me the box of alchemy cards on my bed? The big box? The big blue box of alchemy cards. There we go. That's right. Make her work because this is summer break, okay? She's got to do something too. Anyway, so yes, I've been working with alchemy cards, and part of the process was going through a transformation. If you're with me on Soul Alchemy, then you'll be like, all right, I know what she's talking about, right? But I got to the second step in the process, which was, thank you, which was Pluto. Yeah, I got to Pluto, which was the second step. Here's my cards. I'm just going to show you. All right, there's the deck. All right, there's the deck. As you can see, they are big. These are a set of big cards, and they're hexagonal. All right, I don't even know. Like, there you go. So they're a deck. They're that big. They're hexagonal, and which makes them not really conducive to like a regular reading, right? So I use these cards pretty much on my altar. They represent the different alchemical processes, the 4 seasons, the 12 zodiac signs, the 9 planets, the 7 alchemical processes that you go through when you're working in alchemy. Okay, so each of these is, it's in there. And like I said, I've been working through self-reflection as far as a guiding where to go, what are my next steps. I'm on a deep dive. What are my next steps, right? And so I'm sitting here, working through, and I actually found, I'm going to see if I can find the reading because I took a picture of it, but honestly, what does that have to do with anything? The reading was called The Doors of Wisdom. All right, there you go. So it was, there you go. It was that one, The Doors of Wisdom reading, okay? And so that's where I am. Now, I started on the first step, which was the oil of vitriol. Just if you know, you know. Okay. And that brought me to relationship, like the shadow part of the relationship that I had originally with my mother. Go back 3 weeks, maybe 4. I talked about that. Okay. The green lion eating the golden sun, something like that. Okay. I talked about that back then. Okay, so now we're on Pluto, and I decided this was a good opportunity for me to do that deep dive into Pluto and share how one uses Pluto for the shadow work that changes your life. Okay, so yes, this is called changing your life with Pluto. Okay, that is where I am on it. Okay. I did not know how else to explain this, but I have said so many times now, that taking the dive into the shadow portion of your existence is where your real change is going to happen. The change does not happen. The growth does not happen in the sunshine and lollipops version of your life. Okay, that's where you're comfortable. That's where you're happy. That's where you're not thinking too much. Okay, it just is, right? You're not going to do any real changes if you stay consistently in the light, sunshine, lollipops and rainbows part of your life. Okay, the change happens in the shadow part. And Pluto being the farthest out there, just roaming aimlessly out in the solar system. The one that's so far out there that they don't even consider the planet anymore, so tiny, just out there, so shadowy, not visited, just out there, is that energy in our charts and in our lives that we can use to get us through, like it's like a straight path to where the shadow component is that's going to change your life the most. Okay, so that being said, this is that deep dive. Okay, ask questions. If you're here and you see something or it doesn't make sense, ask the question. Okay, if you put something in the DMs, I will not see it until after I'm done, because I'm not checking DMs right now. Okay, and if any of this resonates with you as you're watching this back on YouTube, and I found out, yes, also on Facebook, if you're watching this back and something resonates with you, make sure you can share it, like it, comment, and let me know if this at all resonated with you. Okay, lastly, I have a sound bath on Sunday. I'm still in West Palm Beach. I have a sound bath on Sunday. It is a community sound bath at Herbs and Earth. Feel free to join me. And also, the Creatrix Academy is up. The membership is open. If you're interested, just DM me on that. I will get back to you. But the Soul Alchemy Circle basically runs through the alchemy processes, frameworks, things of that nature that help us turn that lead into gold and turn our shit in our lives into the more progressed processes that we need in order to jump forward. Health, abundance, happiness. Okay, so that's what the Soul Alchemy Circle is. Okay, I think that's everything. Without further ado, oh, also, I'm not an astrologer. Okay, I am not an astrologer. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm not an astrologer. However, I love astrology. Okay, and in working with shadow, in working with energy, which is what I am, I work with energy. Okay, so you're hard pressed to work with energy, to work with sound, to work with alchemy, and not have that work, that zodiac work, that astrological work. The dog is coming back. He obviously found out that I'm on live. The astrological work that is incorporated with that. Okay, it's kind of hard. It's all encompassing. Okay, it's like all in. It's like a Venn diagram with like 80 million circles, and they're all kind of intersecting in the middle. Okay, so although I am not specifically an astrologer, I feel like I can do the best that I can to help us work through where we're going to go with this. And we're going to start with, where is my, let's see, is it that one? No, it's not that one. It's not that. Oh, hold on. It's a window. There we go. We are going to start with the 12 houses. Okay, this is not mine. Please understand, it ain't mine. Okay, but this was by at the straw. Okay, I found it. It made sense to me, and I liked it. I liked this one because it also used Hellenistic, and that additional energy. So I was here for it. Okay, but when we're talking about the 12 houses, we're talking about when I'm talking about it. I'm talking about when you do your personal birth chart. Okay, so you're going to do your own personal birth chart, and it is going to look like, let me see, how do I get to the one? See, it is going to look like this. Okay, hold on, where is it at? Where's my, there we are. Okay. So you do your birth chart. This is mine. Don't read too much into it. Don't try and get any, specific information. Okay. But when you're doing your birth chart, it's going to look like this. Okay. And so this is mine. This has me, Asia. Okay. My birthday, yes, it's November 14th. All right. I'm a Scorpio sun. I am a Virgo ascendant, and I'm a Cancer. And I am a Leo moon. Whew. And I am a Leo moon. Okay. Now, what we're going to talk about today is this part right here, which is the, hold on, there we go. All right. Which is this part right here. This first is mine. Okay. I'm looking at Pluto. There's my Pluto, if that works on the screen. So there's my Pluto, and then Pluto is in my first house. Let me make sure I did that right on my screens, because I got like 80 different screens up here. There we are. All right. So here's my Pluto. Here is Pluto is in the first house for me. Okay. Now, Pluto being in the first house for me is not going to be the same as it is for you necessarily. Okay. But what will likely be the same for most of the people in my generation, and I was born in 1976. Thank you. You're welcome. And so what's going to be the same for most of us and our generation is the fact that Pluto is in Libra. All right. So our Pluto was Libra. Pluto goes very, it takes a long time, right? So it stays in line for a whole generation. All right. So for me, Pluto's in Libra. That's what this is right here. Okay. But for me, Pluto is in my first house. All right. So we're going to start with that. Okay. And this would be what your chart would look like right here. Your chart will be divided into 12 houses. It always is divided into 12 houses. Okay. Now going back to my chart here. Let's see. Let me find the chart now. The houses, so I can share that and we can kind of get that going. So now, for me, it's in my first house. Okay. For you, it may be somewhere else. Okay. Now these are the houses and what they specifically mean. Okay. And this is a very basic, what is the word I can use? Like, you can't really just like draw down a house by one word. Okay. We're talking in terms of having a knowledge that doesn't really work with like language. Okay. So just understand that these are just ideals. All right. For the 12 houses. Okay. So starting with that first house, that first house is going to be like yourself, your identity, right? Who you are, like when you're presenting to other people. Okay. It's going to be that, how other people kind of see you, what your body looks like, what is your vibe. Okay. So that's that first house right there, right? Second house is, we're going to move into that, money, what your resources are, how you handle your resources, the things that you have around you. Okay. And so the first four houses, first, second, and third and fourth houses are going to all be like your personal houses, right? Those are all like within you, right? Third house is how you're communicating. What are your skills? What do you bring to, your table, that kind of a thing. And then the fourth house is going to be your family, your childhood life, things like that. Okay. So I'm going to try to go through how Pluto affects each of these houses. Okay. So by now, if you haven't, I would say just go to astro.com. Okay. pause it or whatever, whatever, even sometime between now and whenever. All right. You're going to go to astro.com. Okay. You're going to pull up your own birth chart. You're going to need your time of birth. All right. This is important stuff. You got to know your time of birth just so that way when some girl asks you what your time of birth is, you at least can say no. Right. But you're going to know your time of birth. And then you're going to find your Pluto. All right. We're focusing on Pluto because of its shadow aspects. Okay. Pluto is like shadow of shadow of shadow. Okay. So whereas all of the other planet energy can have a shadow side, Pluto kind of gets to the depth, that occult part, that shadow part, just in general. Okay. And what I'm going to say here is that what you can do, and this is just a suggestion, this is my consider for today. Consider finding where your Pluto is. Okay. And then feeling through that to access that shadow portion of you, that mirror that you're not totally giving out to the world, that part that's going to be just for you, that's going to be your message for where you can go, metaphysically, spiritually, as far as growth in the shadow. Okay. And you're going to see what I'm talking about in just a second. Now, I also need to say this. I had a lot of windows today. Okay. I had a lot going on, but the book that I am going to reference a lot here is going to be this book. Okay. It's by Marie Silva. All right. And she did a full on all of the planets. She did one book for like each of the planets. Okay. And Chiron. All right. It was a great resource. And so I would suggest it if you're looking for a resource for as far as like taking a deep dive into a planet in an astrological format. Marie Silva, she does each of the planets. Okay. I have the full box set. So, but this one was Pluto, that I used for most of what I'm going to talk about today. And I will like end up referencing this as well, so that way we know. I'm going to, let's see, I feel like I should like, I don't know, can I even minimize it? I don't even know if I can minimize it. Like, what does that even mean? I don't know. I'm afraid to touch the buttons. I'm afraid to touch buttons on this screen here. So like, I feel like if I do that, that, yeah, see that now it brings up all her book. Okay. I don't know. We're just going to leave it like that. Okay. You can find the book. I found a Kindle version. That's where I do most of my books, because I don't know if you've seen my house, but it's a little scary as far as having things. And I'm trying to become more minimal somehow. I don't know. It's, it's just there. Anyway, this is the book. All right. So just so we know. All right. So I'm turning this back off. Okay. Now, that being said, I'm going to start with the first house. Why? Not because I had Pluto in my first house. Okay. Not because of that, but because it's the first house. Guys, calm down. It's the first house. All right. It was the first house, and it makes sense. We're going to start at 1. Okay. And like my good friend Brian McKnight says, we're going to get back to 1. We're going to start at 1. And that's just how we're going to do it. Okay. And I will go through the houses. Let me bring back up this screen for one last time. Now that I've done that part, I'm going to, bring that back up so that way we can. I know you guys are probably like, what does that sound? It's my mouse. I don't have a pad. I apologize. All right. Okay. So there we are. We're starting with the first house. First house being a house of self, the house of your identity, how you are seen amongst other people, that that's that first house. Okay. Um, so this is where we get into it. Okay, so Pluto in the first house is an intense placement. Okay, because having that dark brooding energy, Pluto's very emotional, it's very brooding, but it's also dark, it's so far away nobody knows what it is. It's like intense mystery. Okay, having that in your first house can be overwhelming. Ask me how I know. Okay, um it becomes like this intense feeling that people will end up getting, like, just while they're around you, right? You end up hearing a lot of, and you know, stop me if I'm wrong, okay, if this is not for you. If you looked up your chart and Pluto is not in your first house, feel free to, Pluto's in your first house and you do not feel these things, feel free to tell me, no, Asia, that's wrong. Okay, but for me, this was straight on, which is why I feel the authority to be able to share how this works. Okay. But it is a lot of this, hey, you just have this sense, this vibe about you. I felt like we should get to know more about you, right? It's a fierce presence, right? And so people just kind of tend to find you intriguing, whatever. Okay. Marie says that your struggles may include a constant fear of rejection and feeling belittled or overpowered. But most people can't even tell if you lack confidence, right? There's just like this feeling, this presence of, confidence that kind of just comes with your territory. And a lot of that could just be because it's mystery. You're very like mysterious type feeling. Okay. Um, there's like when you have like you're in like an unfamiliar situation, then you tend to uh kind of be reserved until it feels right for you. And because of that reserve or that reservation that you're holding, it kind of makes people want to know more about you because you're giving off this vibe, but you're not really doing anything, even when you don't even try, right? Okay, so Marie says if you have a natal Pluto in the first house, you're a very intense and passionate person. Your presence is powerful. Others defer to you based off of this aura of authority. And if you're like me, you're like, how the hell did I become the leader in this shit, right? I don't know how I got here, but now people are kind of depending on me to answer the questions. I don't know how I got here, but let's go with it, right? And that's where we are. All right. So you have a magnetic personality. It's intensified by this impression that you're making, and people do kind of tend to say there's just something about you. You were giving off this vibe, and I just had to come over, and you're like, I was sitting here watching TV. I was just being me, and you're saying I'm giving off a vibe. Whatevs. Okay. Pluto in their first house, according to Marie here, also can be indicative of suffering a deep, this is her words, deep emotional or physical trauma early on in your life. Okay. So this had a serious effect on your development as a person. And the charisma that you exude can contain a dark, mysterious aspect that may cause others to fear you. With your passion and intensity comes a capability for violence. We're just going to just breeze over that stuff. All right. Don't even think about it. Okay. I'm joking. All right. This is what I told you. The dark side, right? We're going through shadow work, right? And that feeling that you may have right now, if you have Scorpio in your first house and you're hearing me say these things, you're like, ooh, no, we're touching that. That's the feeling. All right. That's where you need to go more. Touch that shit. Okay. Dive deeper in there. Okay. Because we know my story. Lots of early trauma. Okay. Lots of deaths. Right. Lots of transitions. very little attachments, right? Very little loving in my childhood. Okay. And then, just the consistent figuring out whatever the trauma has been for that moment. That's just my life. I'm kind of used to it. You see what I'm saying? So knowing that, and hopefully if you've seen in your chart that you have Pluto in your first house and it feels hard, I'm just here to tell you, it feels hard for a reason. Congratulations, you were chosen. So, that's just kind of, where we are. It says here, by tapping into the power of Pluto, you can uncover deep reserves of inner strength that can help you survive any crisis. And this is where you say, I don't want to survive any crisis. Damn, stop giving me crises to survive. Dear universe, please stop giving me crises to survive. Okay, I feel like I've been tested enough. Thank you. Have a great day. I'll say it on your behalf. All right. The trauma from your past has taught you how to protect yourself and to become a resilient person. Again, didn't know that I wanted that skill. I don't know that resilience was something on my list of things that I wanted, but apparently it is. So we're going to go with it. Okay. And like I said, we're going to use that feeling, that knowing, that trauma, and the things that we went through in our lives are basically molding us and shaping us so that we can then move it out, transmute it, if you will, for my alchemy people. We're going to transmute it into something better, something greater, right? You have powerful ego, right? That first house, self, okay? So you can kind of feel that if you've had that, especially if you're a highly sensitive person and you've been like, hey, this has been a lot. People keep telling you how intimidating you are. Maybe you're like me a little bit. You're like, okay, whatever. I'm the shit. It's cool. Just is what it is. Don't get mad. You have a tendency to hold grudge for a long time and to be hostile. Feeling that's like, somebody has wronged you. You want to take that and figure out how to use that for good, okay? The seeking the revenge part, that's the part that gets us in trouble, okay? But knowing that it exists, knowing that you're not alone, and knowing that you can work to harness it for good, helpful, okay? These are the dark sides, okay? These are the things that we're hiding. Typically, you're in the shadows. We were on to the new moon. Perfect time. Okay, so this is where we are. All right. And then use your power you're using your power positively to affect change in other people's lives. You're welcome. All right. If you find a way your own wounds, capable of helping others to heal. We've been talking about this now for like 3 months. Okay. This is me in alignment. Flow. All right. You sitting here watching this, whenever you're watching this, even if it's years from now, is you being a part of my journey as I am working in alignment with my flow. All right. So that is Pluto first house. All right. Pluto house. Now, second house is values. And it's a Taurus house. It's your money, material possessions, the things that you have. Okay. So like the control of like people, things like that. All right. Second house, you're really good with financial power. All right. If you have like Pluto in your second house, and Pluto's power is going to be like you are able to control your finances, right? Your controlling portion of your things. You're so good at it. Okay. Now the thing is that because you're so good at controlling the finances and the things, you could be obsessive. Okay. Again, we're on the shadow portions. All right. Um, you tend to engage in this obsession because of the control aspect of what you're feeling. You get so obsessed with the minutia, this can cause either a depression or an anxiety. So you may have that, especially if you have a lot of things. The more things you have, the more problems you may be having. It could be a good time to consider, do you have too many things? So that you're not totally obsessing over, the things that you have. So as part of the transformative aspect of Pluto in the second house is your talent for turning debt. All right. Which sounds awesome. Okay. I'm here for it. You could be using your gifts for good. If you find ways of being able to transfer of yourself and of others into wealth, then you are working in alignment with your flow, with your design, right? The thing about Pluto in the second house, though, I do want to mention is that self-esteem can be a big thing, especially like, right? If you've tied your worth to the things that you have, the possessions, the money, okay, and you're so hyper focused on that when something comes up and you don't have, it can really negatively affect your self-esteem. Okay, so if I just touched a pain point for you, that's something for you to work on. Withdrawal of removing your feelings about yourself and your self-worth from possessions, your money, and your things. Okay. That's what I would say about that. Let's see. Third house. What do we say? Communication, writing, your neighborhood, your community, your technical skills. I like how it says third house is the goddess. Okay, but this let me there we go. Okay, there. Third house right here. All right. This is the house of sharing. Like I said, it's communication, bringing things out. It's the Gemini house, right? We know how Geminis are. They love to share. Okay, they're very friendly in that aspect. Okay, especially their bodies, right? I mean, whatever. Okay, it was one guy. I dated one Gemini in my life, and now, yes, I dated two Geminis in my life, and now, yes, I am totally just turned off by the whole idea. I know. Okay, go back to when we were talking about Pluto in the first house. I've been holding these grudges for years now. Just let me have it. Okay. So the third house is the house of sharing. It's the way you think, the way you communicate, and the way you learn. Okay. So Pluto's power in the third house, you're going to have this inner ability, just without trying even sometimes, to uncover profound truths about yourself and about the world around you. You have a very strong mind. So if you're considering Pluto's deep, let me dive, let me find, uncover out here that I can see it all, encompassing as I'm rolling around. Okay, you're able to use that for the power of seeing everything around you and then incorporating that, right? Taking it, analyzing it even. And it's you ruminate on the matters and consider the different options before you come to a decision, right? You're just like taking that information, calculating it, regurgitating it in some way that make it good. All right, you're not going to sugarcoat, okay, because you've seen it exactly how it is. Okay, so some people are going to find this third house Pluto energy to be off-putting. Okay, a lot of people like sugarcoating. That just is what it is. Okay, we kind of live in a world now where there's a lot of sugarcoating happening. Okay, and that may be hard for you. Okay, so sometimes people just feel like you're too blunt, right? because that Pluto energy can be very blunt. It's just honest. It's honest. It's just what it is. Okay. When you look back on your life, so let's say you're at my age now, we're in like our 50s almost, we're looking back, you're going to find that you held very different views now than you had in your past. Okay. Because you see things as they are. All right. And you take what is now and you incorporate that. And then you learn from it, which is a superpower in itself. Okay. The ability to take what you see now and learn and grow from it now, superpower. Bam. All right. The thing is though, if you are able to understand that you change as your knowledge changes, which again, superpower, awesome. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't happen for people. Sometimes they are going to try to stay in, this is what I grew up knowing. This just is what it is. I can't move forward. There becomes this dissonance, right? And that dissonance, as far as what you knew versus what you know, can be a little off-putting. That is where your soft pain point is going to be. So the third house relates to this journey of self-discovery that you went, when you were in your childhood years. All right. Pluto's extreme and intense nature influenced the way that you interact with others and the environment around you. So you may have trouble fitting in with a community or a peer group, as you prefer not to conform to societal norms. Okay. If being an outsider is your pain point because you just choose to be in alignment with, as I am now, this is what I know and this is who I am now, a lot of people aren't able to do that. The majority of the world is typically not able to do that. So if you are able to do that, then welcome, right? Welcome that energy in and work with it. All right. Let's see. You're going to be really vigilant. Third house is really vigilant with the relationships. And so you can end up having some hard time just letting go. All right. It says you may have experienced much abuse, betrayal, and violence when you were younger, which causes you to mistrust people and believe that they will harm you in some way. Okay. Now, if me saying that and you hearing that and you're like, hey, I do have Pluto in my third house, I didn't like that. That's where you need to go as far as working with your shadow work. That parts of your past that you're vigilant about, that you're very guarded about, that's where you need to work on. All right. House 4, fourth house. You know what? We're almost at an hour. I may have to do this in parts now that I'm thinking of it. I may have to do this in parts. I may have to come back next week and do the 4th, the 5th through 8th or whatever, and then 9th through 12th, like the week after that. I don't know. Okay. Because I can't do like a 3-hour live. Obviously, that's not going to work. All right. YouTube doesn't like that either. Okay. Nobody likes that. All right. So I may have to come back. I may do this and then, 4th house, I'm going to wrap up 4th house. I'll do a reading and then we'll move on to next week and I will see you guys on Friday. I think that's what I'm going to do. That sounds like a good idea. I think I'm going to go with that. Okay. Anyway, so 4th house. So 4th house is here. Where we at? Okay. This is your house, your home, family. This is that Cancer, love, compassionate house, right? It's influenced by your home life, your relationship with your friends. So if you have Pluto in your 4th house, okay, it typically will mean that you had a rocky, troubled childhood. Okay. It's like typically you're going to have had like some type of dysfunction in your childhood, as far as, you know, if Pluto's in your fourth house. So therein automatically is where your shadow is going to become your superpower, if you learn how to touch on, work with, and work through this part. Okay, taking that family, you know, dysfunction, learning to process those wounds, and then move forward. All right. So you need to understand the power that Pluto exerts over your home life. Okay. And this is why this is important. All right. I'm going to say this. Knowing that you had a dysfunctional as fuck childhood. All right. You were like, bruh, it was just crazy. My family, dysfunctional AF. Right. I don't know what I did to deserve this stuff. Okay. These memories. Right. Um, the goal is to work through that shadow, to work through where that got you, to work through how you process that before you create your own family. So I may be too late. But if you've created your own family and you did not work through this shadow beforehand, you're basically taking the trauma. That's how generational curses. You have not taken it, you have not worked through it, and now you're bringing it in and you're raising your children under the same type of dysfunction, let's say. Okay. Your family may often deal with internal power struggles. You're likely to have friction with one or both of your parents or guardians. So it says when parents and children fight with one another, it can create deep psychological wounds that fester in the back of your mind and affect your behavior. Honestly, if this touches you, this feels like crap, the idea that you're now thinking about your childhood and the family and the crap that you had to deal with, if it's bubbling something inside of you, that's where you need to touch. Don't ignore that shit. Okay. This is what we're doing today. Okay. I should probably have put like a disclaimer at the beginning. Okay. This is what we're doing today. Shadow work is not for the faint of heart. Okay. Diving in with Pluto, not for the faint of heart. All right. But it's something that is necessary for your growth. Okay. The those positions in the fourth house are very private and secretive, it says. This is Marie's words. Even from their closed ones, right? They're close ones. The outside world is often completely unaware of what is happening behind the scenes. And that goes back to Pluto's position, okay? That whole energy of Pluto, the secretive, the dark, right? Just out there. Okay, if that energy is sitting in your house where your family energy is, your loved ones, your closeness, if that's where that energy is, of course, that's going to touch right there. Okay, so the idea, you're trying to, you know, clear out generational traumas, wounds, and if yours is in your fourth house, if Pluto's in your fourth house, bam, go there. I know it's going to suck, okay? It sucks for maybe this much, okay? But just understand you have this much of your life, okay? That once you clear and start working with and purging and shining the light, the little flashlight on that portion right there, your whole world changes. I promise you. And I don't really promise a lot, you know, but I promise you that's where it's at. All right. You definitely, if it's in your fourth house and it's not too late, do it before you have children. Do it before you start a family. Do it before you start, you know, this crazy deep relationship with somebody. If that ever comes up, do this part first. You're welcome. Okay. You'll thank me for it. Just come back. You'll thank me for it and be like, you know what? Thank you, Asia, for telling me this first. All right. So yeah, I've decided, it was just that quick, that I am going to break this up because I've been on here for an hour almost. Okay. And I still want to get the readings in for today. All right. So let me go ahead and move this. All right. I'm just going to say this, okay? Shadow work is not the end all be all as far as where therapy goes. Okay, a lot of people want to just say, oh, well, you know, I did the shadow work, I know what it is, I'm done. Okay, it's an ongoing life process. Okay, it becomes a part of your life, right? When you know where the the stuff that's in your shadows, how it's affecting and projecting out to the rest of your life, you can then say, oh, you know what, that's not you, it's me, my bad. Okay, because you remember that you're working on some shit that you know, people are like, I don't know what was wrong with it. I never learned anything about that person, you know, whatever. My bad, it's not you, it's me. All right. And I'm working on it. Really, that it becomes that easy, you know what I mean? Incorporating the dark and the light becomes the goal that helps you to be a more whole functioning human being in life, right? Which is really what we want. Okay, don't make me go back over the whole idea of Satan, Lucifer. Okay, the idea that you can be too far hanging out in the light, Lucifer, right? Just be too light, too much. Oh, holier than thou, I am light, light, light. Okay, you can be too far in the light just as well as you can be way too far in the dark. Okay, the goal is to get your darkness, get your light, put them together, create a whole person, be that you know, build that Christ consciousness, that higher developed enlightened self. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, so cards for today. Let's see what comes up as our card for today. I hope that this has resonated with you. And if it has, and you've gotten this far, then please leave a comment. Let me know what the future looks like for you as you're, you know, watching this back whenever you're watching it. You know, like I said, so I did the first 4 houses in Pluto. The first, like if Pluto is in your first 4 houses, okay? I did that today. I will come back. There will have to be a part 2 and a part 3 because now we see it takes me an hour to get through. I don't know how to make it any quicker, okay? Only because it's important stuff. We don't want to just gloss over the shit because nobody is talking about it, right? Everybody wants light and love and unicorns and rainbows, okay? Here you go, miracles. All right. The card for today is miracles. Okay, you're being asked to pay extra close attention to all of the big and small miracles that have already occurred in your life, and also to those that are currently occurring and are still to come. Miracles surround you. Be on the lookout for them. This goes back to gratitude as well. Those things that you see, those things that you focus on, those are the things that get bigger. Those are the things that grow. Okay, that, you know, where our energy goes, those things grow. Okay, I am Asia, the Soulful Creatrix. Come find me if you're in West Palm Beach on Sunday. I'm doing a sound bath at Amy's at Herbs and Earth. Okay, check out the website. The whole calendar is there. If you would like a personal reading, it's a divine path reading. It takes about an hour. You'd have to, you know, go ahead and schedule such a thing. Then go ahead and either book it on the website, send me an email, or DM me, however you're seeing this, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You'll be able to find me either through email or through a DM, and then I can direct you to how to book a divine path reading. Okay. Outside of that, like I said, the Soulful, the Creatrix Academy, open for duty, courses, community, putting your shit out there so that other people can help you grow and build your stuff, alchemizing your negative into positive. That's what we're doing over there in the Creatrix Academy. Go ahead and click the link. You know, I'm pretty sure there's like a free trial there somewhere. Find it, use it, enjoy it. Until next time, I am Asia, the Soulful Creatrix, and I'm wishing you nothing but love and peace. Oh, hold on. You know what? Let me go ahead and turn this off real quick. I want to say this by looking at you. I am Asia, the soulful creatrix, and I'm wishing you nothing but love and peace and many continued blessings. Until next time.